Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we're taking a look at Pharaon,
which is a new game from Catch Up Games and designers Silas and Pim.
This game plays from 1 to 5 players in 60 minutes.
Yes, so in this game you are the children of the Pharaoh and you are trying to score the most points to be the next Pharaoh. Because that's what you do in life. Now the theme here is that you are one of the children of the Pharaoh and you are spending your life basically preparing for dying. And the player who does that the best will be the winner and might be the new Pharaoh. But you won't win if you're the new Pharaoh.
No, that kind of doesn't make any sense, but I like...
Yeah, just being a Pharaoh gives you 7 points.
Yeah.
So this is a Euro game, pure and pure. In this game, it has a round board, which you'll probably see on the screen right now. And in this game, it's basically a resource management game.
Yeah.
So on your turn, you can do one of the actions. You have to place a colored resource on the board, depending on what actions you want to do. And that board is going to turn around after each round, so you can plan ahead a bit of what you want to do. You place a resource, and you can do the action which corresponds to that space that you placed on. So it's kind of like a worker placement-ish, like an action selection more of. But there are like spaces, so there's... at most, you can place an X amount of resources on that action in one round. So you're going to do the actions, and if you place a resource that's needed for the action, you get that discounted, so you don't have to pay both the entry price, which is called, and then the action price. So you get it a bit cheaper if you have planned to use the right resources, because resources are tight, and you need to plan ahead and to get the most actions. So you go around doing these actions and then you pass, and the faster you pass, I really like this mechanism, the faster you pass, you get more bonuses for people doing things. That is something that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I like so too. And you have these scoring tiles that gives you some sense of what you want to do in the game.
Yeah, you
like
have the cards, you mean,
Yeah.
the scoring cards. Yeah, you will have different scoring cards. In the beginning game, you will get like one really easy one, or you can do a draft in the beginning to get scoring cards.
Yeah, I like that.
So rules. This game has a pretty short rule book. It's really good. It's 7 pages for the actual game. Then you have the 2-player rules and the solo rules. We have not played the solo game because we are 2 players, and I don't really play solo games, and I wouldn't see you sitting down to play a solo game anytime soon. So this is really hard to show. Here you can see the board. It's a pretty well laid out rule book, and it's a really pretty simple game. So it's easy to understand the rules, and I think it's easy to teach it, and I hope it's easy to understand as well.
Yeah, it's really simple concepts, and it's pretty easy to learn.
But this game looks beautiful, right?
Yeah, it looks so good. We were looking at this at Essen, and we were like really surprised at how good it actually looked.
I like this big, huge round board. It's different. Like most boards are like it's easy to get us gamers interested in something like, oh, that's not square.
Yeah.
That's something else. It's a round
It's
board.
turning. It's
And it could have been like a square board with this turning thing in the middle. I like that they've done it differently because it looks differently. And for us to play a lot of games different is usually good. Like, especially for getting interested in something.
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like we don't have a lot of Egyptian-themed games.
No.
So I think I really like the artwork and components here. The components are good quality and everything looks fine.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think
you like
it
the
looks
artwork?
pretty weird. Yeah.
It is basically Egyptian themed.
Yeah,
and
it
it
is.
feels like Egyptian themed. Like, even though the theme isn't strong here, we don't care about that, as you know if you've seen one of our videos. But I like how it looks. It makes you feel Egyptian, if you know what I mean. Like, everything makes sense as an Egyptian theme.
Yeah,
you
I
have
agree.
the thumbs, you have the scarabs, you have like the scarab on here, you have everything just works really well with the theme artwork.
It looks really nice on the table.
So we play this with 3 players and 5 players.
Yes.
And both of those took an hour.
Yeah.
So it's
Plays
really like
fast.
it says an hour and it takes an hour.
Yeah.
If people are playing, we played 5 players in an hour, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty nice actually, and it feels like a lot of game in that time.
Yes. Because some games, so yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel as like an okay time? You basically answered that already.
Yes.
Because it feels like you're getting a lot of play in that amount of time.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to set up. There's a lot of different things you can set up. It takes maybe 10 minutes to set up first time. And it's going to be some quicker when you just do bam, 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 you do this, you do this, you do this. If everyone has played before, doesn't really happen with us. We usually always new players. So I always have to teach the rules, but that just makes me better at teaching rules.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, anything else you want to add for play count and player time and stuff like that?
No.
No? Awesome. So replayability, what do you think?
I think the when you lay out the board in the beginning, it's the tiles that can be put different places. So
Yeah,
it's
like it's a puzzle
yeah,
pieces. Yeah.
so it's not always the same actions connected to each other, and that makes sense for the variability of the scoring cards.
Yeah, the end. Also, the end of game scoring. You're
Yes.
scoring these with two things you have to be able to do. It doesn't really feel like it changes the game that much.
No, but it changes the way that you're playing. I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it does. I have never like yet gone for like building the pyramids and going heavy for the trading market thingy something.
Trade market thingy.
Yeah,
Copyright.
theme.
Pharaon game.
Yes. But then you could probably get some other combos than when you're going for buildings and some other. I don't know what the actions are even called.
No, they have names, but they have
They
symbols
have-
like on the
yeah.
which you will see. The
makes
symbols. You'll
sense
never
when you
think
see
about
it,
what it says.
But I feel like then you're playing differently. Not that differently, but it mixes it up, and you can also not. I feel like this is a game that you could be good at if you like. Okay, that symbols always goes there, and then you can get some combos. You don't get to do that when it.
Because it's changed
Yeah.
around this setup, yeah. And also there's quite a bit of luck in the drawing and the rich resources you get and that kind of thing. So not that much actually. There's not too much luck here. There's luck of the draw, but as you know what's out there, but you can get lucky to get a scoring card that you really need. I don't think the replayability here is amazing.
No.
Because like there's small changes, but you will not, because there's 6 actions I think, and you cannot focus on all of them at the same game. So you will be doing like, you might just do 3 of the actions most of the time, maybe do 1 of them once, but you can basically focus on things. It's not a game where you have to do everything.
No. And I think if you try to do everything, that would be not the smartest thing to do. I think the game wants you to focus on some things and make it better. And that's why you have these scoring cards.
Yeah, you have like different scoring cards, different abilities as well.
Yeah.
Depending on the card you have, and it will change how you play, and it will change that. So it is a bit of different, but the game will feel samey, like
samey,
you
yeah.
feel kind of the same every time you play, especially after a couple of plays. First times you might try, okay, I'm going to try these actions now and these actions now, but after you play it maybe 4 or 5 times, I will think that it's starting to get it will still be fun if you like the game, the core game, but it won't like be a new experience each time you
No,
play.
and it's pretty simple actions you take. It's like go there, trade some resources for some others, go there, get some other resources but more than you had before, or it's go there and take some cards that gives you points or special abilities, or build on a pyramid. It's so simple, so it makes it like there's not that much to explore here, really.
No, all the actions are super quick, which it
Yeah.
has to be when you have to can play it with 5 players in an hour. But the biggest question is, of course, do you like it?
Yeah,
Is it fun?
I actually do. This is one of the surprises for me this year.
Uh-huh.
I hadn't even heard about it before we saw it on the table, and then when
I probably
we
have
first,
told you about it, but you don't. Hadn't
yeah,
heard about most
I
of the
haven't
games.
heard of anything, but this I remember that I didn't remember.
Uh-huh. You remember that you didn't remember, so you saw it on the table and I was like, interesting.
Yeah, I'm just like, what is this? And it looked interesting, and when we played it, it looked exactly like what it was.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that, and it flies so quickly by. It's so simple, but I really enjoy it.
I think like this is a really good light to medium game. Like you can play it super quickly. It is too much, as it's not a gateway game
No.
because there's like too many different things and you had to plan. I like that it's super tight in the resources. I
Yeah.
really like that. So you have to plan out your actions, and most actions will maybe give you a resource, but then you have spent 2 resources to get 2 other ones. So you have to know why you want to do that to be able to do that next action. And planning those actions is really cool. That's one of the things. That's like the main thing I like about this game is that resource management, trying to maximize your actions and knowing when to pause. I love the pausing mechanism.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's amazing, because the first time we played it, I was going for the pyramids, and the pyramids is like the one thing in the game that doesn't give you anything but points.
Yeah.
So I ended my turn super quickly, but that gave me actually some resources from the next round because I had to pause.
I like that a lot because you can also like, because those bonuses are really good, especially if
Yeah.
you pause early and you get to get a lot of those bonuses because it's a track and you move up one space each time it comes back to you and somebody has done something. And that's one thing I haven't seen in many games. Trois does it,
Yeah.
where you will get a coin every round when the other players do something. But other than that, I haven't seen many games that does that. And it's a great thing because it makes it more viable to pass.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, you're now going to do 16 more actions and I'm just going to sit here. So it's kind of both actually a viable action, also a great catch-up mechanism.
Yeah, and you sit there when you pause and just like, oh, please don't pause. Please use
Yeah.
those last resources you have. You can do it.
That's actually really cool because it's kind of different from most games.
Yeah.
When you pause in most games, you're going to be like, oh, you still have 6 more actions. Oh, that's not good. And here it's going to be, please do one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you actually
Don't save it for later. No.
you actually end up kind of you get the same feeling as when you hope nobody takes that space you want.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get that same feeling hoping that somebody do something,
Yeah.
so that you will get that next bonus which is better than the last bonus.
Yeah.
So that might be my favorite mechanism of the
Yeah,
game.
I think so too.
So it's a super simple game, but you have that resource management, which is really cool, and the pausing mechanism, which is really cool. The actions in themselves are easy.
Yeah.
It's not really hard to see which actions are good, but you have to focus on something. And as I said, you start with some of the scoring cards. You will maybe have a little bit of what to go for in the beginning, and that will mainly tell you what to do in the game because the game is so short. But I think there's enough meat here for an hour-long game.
Yeah, I agree. And I think most of the meaty decisions comes from the tightness in the resources.
Yes.
And I think those simple actions combined with you thinking, oh, if I do that, I could only do that one action this turn because it's so expensive. Or I really need to do this turn because then I can get the Pharaoh to be the Pharaoh, but it doesn't match with the resource. So I'm basically paying an extra. That's a huge waste of one resource. Or you could go for like paying 5 different resources. That's a lot.
Yes.
Good to get a card that it gives you points. But maybe that it doesn't work out with the strategy that you already have. I think it's super exciting. I really like it.
Yeah. One thing that I feel like the game is trying to do with the spinning board, I don't really feel like that is adding too much, like the action where it changes. You can plan a bit ahead for like what actions, your resources you will need. But other than that, I don't feel like that is adding too much. Like I would maybe have liked that to be a bigger part of the game. I don't know how, but when they like sold it to us or pitched it to us in Spiel, it's like and this is really cool mechanism. I don't feel it adds a lot, but
No.
it does change up the game because it would be bad if all the same colors correspond to the same actions all the time.
Yeah, I think the place where it really matter is the space you can go with 5 different resources. Then you can go there, like it doesn't matter. But on the pyramids, it really matter.
Yeah, that's
And also the trading. Okay, I want that. I have to try that, but then I have to pay 3 for 2. That's
yeah.
I think it's sometimes it's really clever, but I agree with what you're saying. It doesn't take that much focus that I thought it would take, actually.
So do you have some final thoughts?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to start?
I like this game. But it's
And
simple.
that's it.
It's simple. It's not groundbreaking at all,
No.
but I'm really enjoying my time spent with it. And if I can play this game with 5 players in an hour,
Yes.
I'm super happy. I think this is a neat game. I'm going to give it a 7.
So yeah, I'm basically on the same page as you. I think it's a very good game. It's not amazing. It's not breathtaking. Will I play it in a year? I don't know. Might be for that exact reason that you say. It might be one of those 5-player games
Yeah.
that you can bring out to play with your 5. I'm not going to repeat what you just said, but basically that. Like, because there's not that many games that have this amount of game in an hour with 5. So if you are usually a player group of 5, or you might just enjoy this game with 4, 3, 2 as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you are a playing group of 5 and you need another game that might fit in an hour, like a short game, I really recommend this. I think I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Nice.
So a bit more. I want to play it again. I think it's great. I think it should stay in the collection.
Cool.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
Ew.
going to keep this game.
Yay.
So that's the end of the review. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
And I'm Senua.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.